Good evening to one and all present for this session. Today, we truly feel blessed to have Acharya Prashant ji, who is a gracified, who gracefully agreed for an interaction with our students at ITM Kharghar. A strong proponent of veganism, a climate change activist, an advocate for gender equality and women empowerment. These are just few ways to describe Acharya Prashant ji. He is not only one well-known Vedanta teacher of our times, but also one of the most relevant and reliable wisdom teacher who is followed by 10 of million of people through his various online and offline platforms. From authoring over 100 best-selling books to receiving the most influential vegan of the year award by PETA, Acharya Prashant ji has been instrumental in bringing social spiritual transformation across the globe, and especially amongst the youth. Sir, it's an honor to welcome you and address our students at ITM. On behalf of all of us, we would like to thank you for accepting our invitation. Uh, Sir, to start with, since this is an interactive session, I would like to ask one question to you, which is on women empowerment. In last few years, we have seen that this word women empowerment has been used in our society to a very large extent. To some extent, I feel that by this, the empowerment that has been being given, there has been some kind of social turbulence. I would like to know, in your words, what exactly is the meaning of women empowerment?
You see, when we say a person is to be empowered, we need to first of all understand who the person is, and therefore what is the meaning of power, and what is the requirement of power for that person. So we are talking of a human being. More specifically, we are talking of women. What is the fundamental desire that a human being has? And what's the most fundamental suffering? The desire is freedom that comes from realizing the nature of bondages. So freedom and realization, these are our fundamental desires. This is what we all want, men or women. And if we do not have freedom, if we do not realize what our bondages are, then that's the fundamental suffering. So, you see, power is needed only to bring about a change, right? Power is energy. We need to change the situation as it currently exists. The status quo is unacceptable because it includes a lot of suffering, and that's the reason we need power. If we do not know who we are, what our situation is, what our problem is, and why we need power, then power becomes counterproductive. Is that not so? So I must know where I am stuck. I must know what is it in my current situation that I need to change. In my current situation, it is the lack of understanding of the very nature of my bondage. That's what I need to address and change. That's what in my current situation is totally unacceptable. So what then is empowerment? Empowerment is understanding. Empowerment is illumination. If I want to empower someone, or if I am to be empowered, the first thing is to know where I am stuck. The first thing is to realize the nature of my bondages and consequent suffering. And then I'll have the the urge and the wisdom to challenge things as they stand inside me and outside me. And when there is that challenge, there is change. And that change brings me to a point of peace. That's the entire purpose of empowerment. You come to a point of peace, you come to a point of freedom, you come to a point where your potential to be realized takes material form in the shape of your life. So that's empowerment. The woman is a conscious being, exactly as the man. And obviously both need to be empowered. But here the question is more specifically in the context of women. So that's the conscious being, the woman. And she does not realize the nature of her bondages. The outer and the inner conditions are not favorable to realization. Right? Now we are going into the nature of her suffering, her weakness, right? So there is an outer condition in the form of the world she inhabits, and there is the inner condition in the form of her mental environment. And both these are not conducive to strength. Both of these are not very illuminated conditions. So if we want to empower the girl or the woman, we have to work on these two fronts. We have to create external conditions that tell her that first and foremost, she is a consciousness waiting to attain heights, and she is not to spend her life by the dictates of her body. Right? So she has to be saved from social influences and biological imperatives, these two things. So this discussion so far has brought us to the two important pillars needed to uphold any kind of empowerment. One, take care of all the things that influence her, from the social point, from the legal point, from the religious point, educational point. From all these places, influences come and they shape her mind. You could say they distort her mind. So, empowerment of the woman would involve taking care of these points, these institutions. You have to take care of the religious influences. If you have a girl and she has been told since childhood that the very success of the woman's life lies in taking care of the household and the husband and the babies, and she does not need to accord priority to anything else. She does not need to read much, she does not need to explore much. Her own ambition and potential is of secondary importance. That knowledge is secondary to, let's say, daintiness. That servility is more valuable than curiosity or inquisitiveness. If these are the values that have come to her from religion or family, then that's a huge problem. So empowerment would involve challenging the so-called religious institution. It's actually not true religion that teaches such things, but in the name of religion, such things are drilled into the girl's mind. So empowerment would mean that you do not let the folk kind of religion do such things to the girl. Then there is the educational thing. What is it that's being taught in the schools? That involves the content of the textbooks, where there might be subliminal messages that are gender insensitive in nature. For example, if you want to show what a kitchen looks like, you have shown the kitchen and a woman in a sari is standing there. Now technically what you have shown to the kid, and let's say it's a class 3 kid, technically what you have shown to the kid is, all right, yes, that's the kitchen and there is the lady standing there, but what you don't understand is that you have also in the process sent across a dangerous message, that the kitchen is for the woman and that the place of the woman is in the kitchen. So that's regarding the content of the textbook. And then there is the attitude of the teachers, right? How are the teachers looking at their boys and girls, the students? What advices are they rendering to the students? And it often happens that the teachers, even in their good intention, end up giving dangerous, even toxic advice to boys and girls out of their own ignorance. It's not a problem of intention then, it's a problem of the teacher's ignorance. So that institution has to be taken care of. We are talking of the educational institution, the religious institution, then the law. The law, first of all, has to take care of the interests of the woman, and that does not merely mean talking of equality in a blind way. If you really care about equality, then you will first of all want them to be equals. You cannot have equal laws for two sections that are fundamentally and historically unequal. So the legal community has to go into that and take care of that, and to a great extent that has been done. In fact, some people allege that it has been overdone. Equally, some people say that what has been done is not very meticulous. You have taken care of the woman's interests where you could see her interests placed, but because you are yourself not very insightful, you do not see where her real interests are, and where her real interests stand, there you have not been able to provide any legal protection. Take for example the instance of very prevalent marital rape, and even till date the law does not seem to be able to do much when it comes to that. Then there are the institutions of the media. You have the movies, you have the television, you have the social media, and all of these are affecting the girl's mind, right? And if you are making her mind feeble and you're distorting her consciousness, then obviously there is no empowerment. So these have to be taken care of. And then it comes to the girls' insides. We said empowerment would include two domains: the domain within and the domain without. The domain within is her own biological tendencies. The domain without comprises of the forces, factors, institutions that affect her mind. We have spoken of all the external factors. Now let's get to the internal one. So you see, the girl has been evolved by nature in a particular way, right? And evolution is a very gradual and tedious process. In a historical sense, on a historical time scale, just till yesterday, we all were residing in the jungle, right? It's been just a few thousand years since we have totally and completely moved out of the jungle. Before that, since millions of years, we were in the jungle. And the woman's body has been trained over these millions of years of evolution to play her biological role only. And that training of a million years cannot be undone or offset in a matter of a few thousand years. So even as today we say we are cultured, we are civilized, we are urban, we say we are not animals anymore, we say we are not jungle dwellers anymore, but still our body belongs squarely to the jungle, right? And what is it that the body wants to do in the jungle? Look at the body of any jungle creature. Look at the body of a wild beast. What does it want to do? It wants to secure itself, it wants to eat, and it wants to procreate. Nobody in the jungle cares for any kind of realization or understanding or illumination or empowerment. So the body of the man and the body of the woman, both these bodies are coming from the jungle, but we are specifically talking of the woman here. Coming from the jungle, all that her body cares for is the biological imperative. And the biological imperative is to relate with the male in a certain way and to procreate a lot and to perform the same role that she has been historically performing since millions of years. The thing is that those millions of years are just too far behind us now, right? In a very short span of time, in just a few thousand years, around let's say 60,000-70,000 years, we have been able to put the jungle far behind us. But the body has still not come to terms with that fact. Right? Even as our lives have changed a lot, our bodies have not. The bodies continue to remain the same as they were, let's say, 10 million years back. Not much has changed. Fundamentally, the body is the same. Though consciousness has changed, life has changed. Obviously, we know how much science and technology have changed. Thought has evolved. But the body has not evolved because, as we said, evolution is a very slow process. So the body has remained the same. Body has remained the same. Evolution has been outpaced by the growth in thought, understanding. What does that mean? That means that there is a huge lag. Even as we have great books available, the sharpest products of intellect are available to us for use, the urges of the body remain very animalistic. What does the body want? Attachment, possession. Huh? And when it cannot have what it wants, there is anger and jealousy and such things. And especially the woman's body has been raised or evolved in a way that there is a lot of insecurity, because the historical, prakritic, natural role of the woman was to raise kids. And in the jungle, that's a very important role. In fact, that's the central role of one's life. We are talking of the woman. If you look at the jungle, the woman exists to be pregnant. The woman exists to breed. That's how it happens in the jungle, right? The woman does not exist to become an artist, a painter, a dancer, a scientist, an explorer, a thinker, a meditator. No. In the jungle, she exists just to survive and to give birth. So she will eat, she will seek physical and mental protection, security, and she will seek a mate who can impregnate her. Now that is continuing even today. And if that continues, no empowerment makes any sense. Even if you change all the institutions, the external ones, we have talked of the religious one, the educational one, the legal one, we have talked of the role of media and so many other things. Even if you take care of all those institutions, the woman would still not be free. Even if you bestow all kind of powers on her, she would still either refuse to wield those powers or would misuse those powers. Because internal bondage is way more severe than any kind of external bondage. If you give her external freedom without caring for her internal freedom, external freedom will make very little difference. In fact, external freedom will become dangerous because it will create an illusion of freedom. She will think she is free, she will claim she is empowered, whereas she is as much in bondage as she always has been. And that's the case of a lot of so-called empowered women today. They say we are empowered, but internally they are still living in the jungle variety of bondage. So that's where self-knowledge comes in. She needs to have self-knowledge. And that's where wisdom literature comes in. That is what is Atmagyan or spirituality. That's where Vedant comes to the woman's rescue. Vedant tells her, oh, come on, learn to keep the body aside. You're not the body. The body is at most a resource that you can use to attain some legitimate objective. But what is a legitimate objective? That has to be known by knowing yourself. When you know yourself, then you know what your goals must be. Right? So self-knowledge. You know yourself and then you know what your goals must be. And in the pursuit of those legitimate goals, you can use your body. That's fine. The body includes everything. It includes memory. It includes the wholeness of your brain, intellect, your power to argue, creativity, everything. And it includes your muscular strength. It includes everything that you are physically. Right? So you must know yourself, and then you can use the body for the right purpose. And then you will not use your body just to seek security, or sometimes attract the other gender so that you can have a comfortable nest. All those things will then appear very childish to you. You will say, I'm not born for that. I'm a human being. I exist to realize I'm a human being. The purpose of my life is liberation, illumination, understanding. That's why I'm born. It does not matter what my gender is. The gender is just a thing of the body, and I'm not the body. I am a consciousness seeking to be liberated. That's who I am. Right? So these things, in my view, constitute the empowerment of women. Modification and reform of external institutions, the institution of family, the institution of religion, society, law, education, media, these have to be taken care of. And more important than that, the woman has to have self-knowledge, and to that end you require specialized courses in schools and colleges. You require wisdom literature to be a part of the standard curricula, and you need perspective. You need a society that gives importance to spiritual understanding. So that's from my side.
Thank you so much, sir, for such a insightfulness on what women empowerment exactly is all about.